Howdy there, folks.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm sorry, it's me. Welcome to High on the Air with 𝕯𝖎, where we get high on the air.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What do you want me to do? Never put a homosexual AI on your phone. There's a new show I'm going to do. Hopefully every day. I'll bring interesting things to talk about. But maybe not today. Who knows? Colin Francis. Colin Francis. 𝕯𝖆 Francis. You know how to spell Francis, don't you? There's multiple ways you can spell column. I don't know how you even pronounce it. Colin Francis. I don't know if he's alive. This dude was the host of High on the Air. Mid to late 90s, early 2000s. High on the Air by High Times with Colin Francis. I can't find the guy. I find some Negro in Australia or something. I don't want to know anything about this Negro in Australia, but he keeps coming up. Colin Francis is apparently dropped off the face of the fucking earth. Is he dead? Has he died? I can't find anything. Anything. I found a few little videos on YouTube that features Colin Francis. Apparently, he was quite aged. 20 years ago, when this shit took place. But if he is dead, he may be still alive. I hope you're still alive, brother. You provided me with some great entertainment, and it was great back when we're surrounded by a bunch of fucking stupid idiots that thought that marijuana was bad. You know, when they're just stupid, ignorant idiots. All scientific evidence says that it's good. So if you let somebody convince you that it's bad, then you're a fucking retard. No exceptions. But we were surrounded by a lot of fucking retards back then. So High on the Air was a great thing to plug into to find out about cannabis culture of the time and celebrate it. Colin Francis. But if you are dead, my friend, all I can say is park and lock it forever and ever. Amen. One thing I did learn. Am I missing phones? I'm missing phones. Why am I missing phones? How is it possible to be missing fucking phones when I plugged the things in? Did it fall? Yes. Here's a phone. I found it. Wait, you're a phone too.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, you're not actually a phone. God. Homosexual AIs. Who would have thunk it? Everything I say, he finds fault with. Don't drop bean burritos on your phone. Now I have to wait for this fucking phone to come on. These pocket computers take 1,000 years to start. Why don't you just use some kind of a cartridge type technology for the fucking initial shit that has to load? Idiots. This is the 21st century, and 𝕯𝖎 has to solve everything, or nothing will ever function properly. And I don't give a fuck, so man, you're fucked. Like driving, there would be no gridlock if you just had to stay 4 or 5 car lengths behind the car in front of you at all times. Even when you stop, you should stay 3 car lengths behind. If anyone needs to cross through there, they can, but they can't ride like that up somebody's ass just because you're stupid. Just because you're stupid, you ride up the ass of the person in front of you. And not only that, if you see a space in front of you, you have to floor it and fly towards the person in front of you and dare anyone to try to change lanes. They'll be cutting you off from slamming on the brakes just before you hit that person. It's a stupid fucking world. You're stupid fucking idiots. And I'm the only one who has any sense. So what I say goes. From now on, everyone has to drive 5 car lengths behind everyone else. And if you stop at least 3 car lengths behind them. You don't race. When you see a spot, you don't race up to the next car as fast as you can. You stay your fucking ass where you're at. That's the new rules. So saith 𝕯𝖎𝖌𝖎. But anyway, this Colin Francis character. I did not find what he's doing now. If anyone in my viewership has a brain enough to have known who Colin Francis ever was, and you also happen to know where the fuck he's at now, let me know. Oh man, this is trashy. Also, don't ever buy anything from Total by Verizon, because it's just a Verizon scam. It's exactly what it is. They out of the Walmart that I went to, they completely took the Verizon display out of the store, and the only thing there is Total by Verizon. So everyone will think that, well, that's the Verizon. Now, so you go and you buy phones like I did. I went and bought a couple phones. And they know it's a scam. They know that's what you're doing, because when you try to hook it to your Verizon account, it's not going to work. And then you have to fucking hook it up to this Total by Verizon, which costs just as much or more to use, but it's just a shitty fucking service. What it is Track Phone, that worthless garbage company that has been not good enough for anybody who hasn't an adult-minded elderly person in fucking decades. That Verizon bought them instead of encompassing. There was nothing to encompass. Track Phone was always just a pile of shit. So now Verizon has fucking just, they didn't encompass that into their fucking shit, so they just covered the shit with a tarp and try to hoist it on people's petard. They're scamming people into that. And guess what? If you're on a Total by Verizon line, and you call any one of 100 different Verizon numbers I called to try to get another Verizon phone that I bought to fucking work on their fucking network, because their shit was fucked up. And I'm trying to, first, I tried to transfer my fucking, I told them that the phone was lost and I need to fucking put my new device on there. So then we get stuck at the point where it says, okay, no problem, you lost your device? Fine, we'll hook up this device, but I have to send you a fucking text message to your other device first. I would bash the skull out of 1,000 apes just for that. Just for that. Telling me that they have to send a text message to my phone that I said I lost to get the new phone that I just purchased from them at great expense hooked up. I would bash the skulls of 1,000 apes just for that. But then it fucking continued. Then I went and downloaded my Verizon on the Total Garbage by Verizon phone. And I went through the My Verizon app and totally hooked up everything. I gave them the right IMEI, the SIM number for my new Verizon phone that I actually had to purchase, because they tricked me into buying 2 Total Garbage by Verizon phones. And it was all fine. It was you're all hooked up. But then when I go to activate the device, it says device cannot be activated. And it was because the fucking stupid cunts had already sent me a fucking text message wanting me to respond on the phone that I had said I had lost, because it actually got destroyed. I dropped it and the screen cracked. And it was nothing but colored lines on the phone. I couldn't use it. So that's the first thing. And then I went and hooked it up. Okay, so then I try to call Verizon because I activated my phone. It says it is working, but the phone itself, this phone that I'm on now, Moto G Power, uh, it wouldn't activate. It would not. The phone cannot be activated. So then I try to call Verizon. And it's the Verizon bot. I am Verizon fuckbot answers the phone and says, "I see that you are not of us. Get fucked." And it hangs up. Welcome to Verizon support. I am Verizon fuckbot, and I see that you are not of us. So fuck you. Goodbye. Hang up. Oh, well, fuck. I think I tried it again. It did the same fucking thing. I found a second Verizon number, different number. Welcome to Verizon. I am Verizon fuckbot. We see that you are not of us. Fuck you. Bye. It hangs up. I try another and another and another and another and another and another. I must have called 20 different Verizon fucking numbers. And every fucking one said, "Hello, this is some other number, but I am Verizon fuckbot. I see that you are not of us. Goodbye." That's their support because they knew that I was on a Total by Verizon number. So they just cut you off because they know they are scamming millions of people because they are a trashy shit company.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What? What if that is not true? Verizon is a scam company. And now there's something else called Pulse by Verizon. Please, God, do not fuck with that. In fact, I would strongly advise all people with any brains to get off of Verizon completely. I'm going to. They can suck it, the trashy vermin. They can suck it. And then even afterwards, they can suck it, but I'm still not going to use their service after that. I might tell them I will until they suck it. I'm not going to use it anymore. I'm going to go to someone else. I'm thinking T-Mobile because I was looking it up, and apparently they have the fastest cellular upload. And that's one thing with the Total garbage by Verizon. It has no upload whatsoever, and no real download. It was supposed to be 5G, but the phone never got off of 4G ever. And on my Verizon account in the exact same place, I have 5G ultra broadband. But the only thing you connect to with Total garbage by Verizon is 4G. Everywhere that I drove, hundreds of miles, you only connect to 4G with Total turd by Verizon. So don't use it. Don't use Pulse by Verizon. If you have to use Verizon, you can only use Verizon itself, and I strongly discourage people from ever doing that. Drop your service right now and go to T-Mobile. Well, no, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Get T-Mobile or whatever some other service that's best in your area. Also, make sure don't go get great T-Mobile because I told you to, because it's not it's different everywhere all around the country. Which one is the best? If you're interested in the best, then you should look it up and make sure which one's the strongest in your city, your geographic area that you use it. And maybe, you might have to stay on Verizon. Sometimes T-Mobile is wonderful in a city and Verizon is just unusable. And they're still there. Oh, these companies are so fucking awesome, aren't they? And then another city, T-Mobile will be unusable and Verizon will be. Or just where you live might be unusable on a certain cellular. So don't drop it before you get another. Get another. And if it works great, then you can drop the first one. Like Digi did with his ex-wife. But anyway, no, here it is. I was looking for Colin Francis. Okay. This IMDb probably would be him. But I don't know for sure. Because I never knew anything about his, anything else but High on the Air. So I don't know if this is the same guy. But let's see what his age would have been if it says. I don't think there's a biography. Man, I'm just sweating like fucking crazy. You'd think I was in fucking Louisiana or some other shithole. I have to turn it on. If you can't hear, don't complain, because you won't be able to see either. Alright? You done complaining? Gotta be. So I can poke out your eyes as well as your ears. Skateboards and spandex. He played a school kid in 2010. This was not him, unfortunately. There's too many Colin Francis. None of them are the dude. Ugh. I think this guy is Aboriginal. This other guy, I keep finding him. He's too famous, so he just comes up everywhere when I'm looking for this guy. Apparently he was a child performer. Just what I needed, him to come along. So fuck up my whole search. Fucking asshole. But I was looking for this Wikipedia and see if okay, I think I know how to find it. I hope. Internet search, that's just a Google search, that's just become a piece of garbage. All they want is to give you ads and nothing else. It's called the shitification of the internet. They get the butts in the seats, and then they fuck you over every way they can in the world for money. Till you fuck them, and they stop. Yeah, I think I found something that maybe this was the wiki I was looking for. It's not even Wikipedia, it's 𝕯𝖌𝖎. So I found a Colin Francis. I find it interesting. How do you reverse the shit? Do they have a setting for that? I doubt it, because, we're dealing with Google here. Trashy motherfuckers that they are. That's just the stupidest functionality on this fucking YouTube fucking app or streaming. And that's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're fucking in business. Raping me for my content. But anyway, I found Colin Francis, and I find it interesting. I do. I find it very interesting. Because this guy, Callum Francis, Callum Francis, same name as the guy that was the host of High on the Air with Callum Francis. Callum Francis. They pronounced it different. I guess, when you have a name that no one's heard of before, everyone pronounces it different. But it's hilarious. It was from 1129, this guy, Callum Francis. Well, in 1127, apparently, he was coronated. I don't know of what. I don't even know if this is fucking real or the mythology of a video game. But anyway, in 1127, this guy, Colin Francis, apparently was coronated. As what? I don't know. But his he had an empress, so he was coronated emperor of something. He's Asian looking. That I can tell. He was Buddhist, the Francis dynasty. So I'm thinking Chinese. He looks very Chinese. And his predecessor was Spencer Francis. I don't know if he killed Spencer Francis. I would not be surprised if Spencer Francis was probably Callum Francis' older brother or father or something, uncle, I don't know. And he probably killed him and then succeeded to the throne. Which, I don't know, I guess you're brave to do some shit like that, because 2 years later, in 1129, let me turn this off. 2 years later, in 1129, 2 years after his coronation in 1127, Callum Francis himself got killed by his brother, Brendan Francis. He was killed by his brother, Brendan Francis. I wouldn't want to live in a family like that, why wouldn't they kill you is because there's no punishment for it. He could have killed somebody to become emperor, but then Brendan Francis killed him. He was killed by his brother, Brendan Francis. It says Brendan Francis, after that, was coronated emperor. Well, what the fuck? I would have killed that fucking dude beforehand, if that's the way things are going to be. If my brother can kill me and take the throne, oh no, I ain't going to have no brothers. Sorry. But I would be kind and kill him. A lot of times in those situations throughout history, they would just lock their siblings up in a dungeon forever until they died. But then, funny thing happened on the way to the fucking throne, or soon after. That Brendan Francis, who killed Colin Francis in 1129, he said, in 1129, Brendan Francis killed his younger brother. Oh, he was the older. Callum Francis, and he was coronated emperor after that. He got killed himself 5 years later, after he had murdered Callum Francis and become emperor. Jet Francis killed Brendan Francis, and then was coronated emperor after that. What the fuck? If you're next in line to this throne, you just want it right now. And don't they realize? Because then I went and seen this Jet Francis that killed Brendan Francis, who killed Colin Francis. In 1134, as we recall, in order to take the throne from Brendan Francis, Jet Francis did the same thing as Brendan Francis did to Callum Francis, murdering him. And then he was coronated emperor. And then, you guessed it, in 1143, he was killed by 𝕯𝖆 Francis. 𝕯𝖆 Francis, who is the only son of Colin Francis, the one that we originally started with. He worked as a Grand Master in Jet Francis's reign. Yes, I don't... They keep killing people, but they don't fucking worry about nobody killing them back. So he just was running around. And he thinks that Jet Francis is an evil and money waster. I don't think this originally was English. In 1143, hearing that Jet Francis will empoison him, so Jet Francis, 34, like 9 years later, finally realized, this guy. Oh, okay, so, yeah, he's not the one who killed Colin Francis, 𝕯𝖆's father. But he killed his father's murderer. But apparently that wasn't good enough, because 𝕯𝖆, I guess, was fine with the guy who killed his father. He didn't kill him, but he killed the guy who killed his father. He shot him. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. And in 1143, fearing that Jet was finally going to get around to taking care of these obvious loose ends of leaving 𝕯𝖆 alive, 𝕯𝖆 Francis shooted Jet Francis with a bow. He shooted him with a bow. He then coronated. So he shooted him with a bow. So Colin Francis was killed by Brendan Francis. And Brendan took the throne, and then Brendan Francis was killed by Jet Francis, and Jet took the throne. I'm probably skipping some people even. And then definitely Jet Francis was killed by 𝕯𝖆 Francis. And I'm going on. This is new territory for me. I have no idea. Was 𝕯𝖆 killed also by a relative? In 1129, after killing Colin Francis, Brendan Francis exiled the family of Colin Francis. I see. Including the Empress 𝕯𝖆 Francis, Vice Empress, someone else, and 𝕯𝖆, who was the only 1 year old at the time. When Brendan killed his father, he was 1 year old, and they kicked him out. 𝕯𝖆 Francis then died in 1130, 1 year later, so he was 2. The 2-year-old, leaving him alone. The 2-year-old boy wandered. He wandered. He was really alone in lots of places, asking for food and water. In 1132, he got adopted by a Grand Secretary's family, holding Grand Master office. With the promotions of his adopting father, in 1134, he has held the office of Grand Master, whatever the fuck that was. Oh, a few days after 𝕯𝖆 Francis holding office, that's when Jet Francis noticed that 𝕯𝖆 Francis is the only son of Colin Francis. He also was exiled by the one that Jet killed, Brendan. So the emperor and his grand commandant discuss how to poison 𝕯𝖆 Francis. It says empoisoning. How to empoisoning 𝕯𝖆 Francis. Don't know. I guess that means poison, or get rid of him some kind of way. 𝕯𝖆 Francis heard about this. Why didn't he shoot him sooner, though? Why do you have to hear about this if all you have to do in this crazy society that this was is shoot the guy. Why did he wait this long? But, he did. But as soon as he found out that the fucking now emperor, because, I mean, if you're next in the throne, why wait? But once he did hear that he was going to get empoisoned, whatever that is, plus he thinks the emperor isn't good at all. Anyway, this is written in some Chinglish, I think. He decided to murder the emperor, and he shoot the emperor with a bow in a few days later. And he was coronated emperor. And he reviving policies. After the coronation, Ariel Francis has a lot of policies to revive in the country. Everything that he did, everything his father probably had, he put it back into place. Oh, and he died not until so he killed in 1143, and he didn't die till 1165. So 22 years later, and he was 37. So he was 15 when he was holding the position of Grand Master and heard some fucking shit about the emperor going to kill him, and he went and shooted the emperor with a bow. He was 15 when he did that, and he died in 1165 at the age of 37. The reason of his death is because of a strange disease that has killed lots of Francis Dynasty emperors. Okay, yeah, fucking your family gives the disease. The only thing I ever heard of, and it does not say who succeeded him, so that's the end. He did not get killed. I guessed it. For some strange reason. Wow. And that was just me searching for Colin Francis. I went through all of that. That's like my daily thing. Studying, learning, reading, inquiring. As well as plotting and scheming. I feel like an ugly woman on a cam girl site. I keep seeing people come in, one viewer at a time, and they're like, gone. And I've seen that a lot of times on cam girl sites. You'll have an ugly woman, and if you're in the chat, you can see other people coming into chat, and because that means they're flipping through the models. When you get on the models page, you're automatically in the chat, and then they disappear out of chat, and the model is like, oh hello, and they're like, oh hi. And that's how I am. I'm like, there's somebody. Oh, he left. Oh, there's one. Oh, it's gone. That doesn't matter. The main thing is I am getting high on the air. Once again. In marijuana news today, I have no fucking idea. I'm fucking high. What? No, I don't want it. Don't give me the don't even give me the paper. I'm too high. Nope. I can't do the marijuana news. No, I am getting a pretty good buzz here. Something for me that became obsolete. Because I smoked too much. Even in Reggie Land where I used to live, before good weed came along. Is it the same? What did they call it? Let me know somewhere. What did they call it in the comments? Because you're not here now, because I see there's 0 people watching. So you're obviously watching later. So in the comments, let me know. What did they call it in your area? Was it the same everywhere? What we had was just weed. It wasn't called Reggie, obviously, before anything else came along. But then all of a sudden, first, it was hydro, I think they called it, because it was when you first started getting weed from underground grows, where people were growing enough to supply, not just for themselves. So it was called hydro, and it was just hydroponically grown, and they just really took care of the plant, and it just you could give it more light up close for more hours than it ever could get in nature. It can only process like 12 hours of light a day, maybe 18. No, 18. I think the plant can process 18 hours of light a day. So you give it 18, and then 12 hours off. So that don't come on to 24, does it? 18, 28. That's 30 hours. But that's the way you would do it. You need to have 12 hours of uninterrupted darkness. So I don't think you would do 18. I think a lot of people would like try some shit like that. But it just fucks up everything probably. I did not do. I did 12 on and 12 off. I'll bet you that's what they do now. Just like me, trying to work 18 hours in a day. Then I fuck up my bullshit. I end up sleeping 12 hours, just like the plant would have to do. And then, well, fuck, well, then we're losing time and days like that, So I did that for a long time. I still do that. Gig work gives you the freedom to do that kind of thing. I smoked too much. My tolerance was fucked up even before Reggie. Where was I? I was talking about Reggie. We used to have Reggie, and we used to have. And we used to not have Reggie, but that's all there was. There was different weeds. I remember hearing there was. Well, first let's go with what I knew. All right, the dancing girls are going to come out in a minute, but first I wanted to tell you about our sponsor, 𝕯𝖏 Butt Cream. Seal yours up, and you won't have a stinky butt. Oh wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the hydro. We had just weed, but no, I remember the different kinds of weed that I had heard of before the good weed came along, and we had skunk. Well, first I was saying what I knew. I had seen skunk. I had seen in Arizona what they call 𝕯𝖏, which is just seedless. So if someone figured out to pull the males, then you would get 𝕯𝖏. No one figured out to pull the males. No one grew in small plots where you could do that. Back then, it was all coming from Central and South America, and it was grown in giant fields. So picking the males, all the fucking males, because even females, you have to go through and you'll find hermaphrodites. Absolutely, positively. Even if you pick out all the males, females produce male flowers. And you have to go and meticulously inspect all the buds in a giant fucking, no telling how big of fields they used to grow weed in Central and South America. But big. And so if someone was producing 𝕯𝖏, they were obviously growing in a smaller area that they could actually do that. Pick the seeds off. And this was done. It could be done thousands of years ago, I mean. So it was done before indoor growing. So we had 𝕯𝖏. I very seldom saw it. Just if you picked through the bud and it didn't have any seeds, it was very odd. A very odd a sensation for you. You're used to having lots of seeds. Back then, weed had lots of seeds. It had lots of seeds to all seeds, one or the other. That's the way it used to be. And so the 𝕯𝖒𝖆𝗓 shit was very rare. I knew of something called 𝕯𝖆, which is just really good lime, I guess. And they had a weed called lime, and that was the kind I always bought as a seller who was taking bales of weed around the country. I bought lime. It smelled like pine trees. It looked like Christmas trees. Like fucking, it was red and green. Very beautiful. Lots of red hair. And then there was Mexican brown, which was the majority of the weed that was available was Mexican brown. And you could get it hundreds of dollars a pound cheaper. Even though I could get the lime for as low as $200 a pound. But I never really built myself up enough. I pissed my money off, and I never built myself up to be buying more than maybe $12,000 to $15,000 worth of weed at a time. So I would get it for about $400 for really, 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 really good weed. Really, really good weed. And I'll tell you about a negotiation tactic that I often used because, as I will be in the future, just as it was in the past, I always traveled with an entourage of at least some people. And in the negotiation with the wetback, El, this guy was named Chapo. He wasn't El Chapo because I was thinking that from that famous guy we recently know. But before you ever heard of El Chapo, this guy was named Chapo. And he was just a guy from Mexico that knew people in Mexico to get weed from, and he did. And you could get it for $40, $50 a pound in Mexico. Probably even the lime, really good fucking shit. Uh, and bring it to the United States and sell it for 400, even more, even 600 a pound, right there in Tucson. But I always wanted it for bottom dollar, and that's the kind I bought. What other kinds did I know about? 𝕯𝖆𝖆, which was just a really good lime. Oh, skunk. Did I say skunk? 𝕯𝖆𝖆, 𝕯𝖒𝖆𝗓, lime, skunk. And the first good weed that I ever saw was in Arizona in a trailer park. I knew rich people, but I seen it in a trailer park. And the guy was selling it. This is at a time. Now, if he'd have caught us at the right time, we'd have probably bought it. Yeah, I don't know if we had $6 though. At the time, I know before I started selling weed in Arizona is when I seen that. No, not before I started selling, but before I started transporting bales around the country and making a lot of money. But I was selling already, but just like a normal person, buying quarter pounds and selling it in quarter bags and shit. But it might even been before then because I know there was a while, maybe just before I started selling. Uh, Me and this dude named Bobby Starsky. His father's name was 𝕯𝖆𝖓, so he sometimes went by Bobby 𝕯𝖓. And me and him would go around looking for weed. And in Arizona, every now and then it would get real dry. Or maybe we were broke. It had to be real dry because the only way you can't get joints for $1 back then was uh, if it's real dry. You can get a joint for $1 from somebody back then. There's a lot of weed in Arizona. Quarter pounds went for like as low as $50 of Mexican brown. It's more like $90 for a quarter pound, but I would pay more like 120 or 150. Because I didn't have those kind of connections until I was buying much more bigger quantity than that. But I can't think of anything else that I. Well, and then you heard of weeds back then that were that did exist, but never would you see it. It was in like they had it in Amsterdam and shit, and the cannabis cup like White Widow and skunk number 9, like a specific skunk, and but we would get skunk though. Skunk weed is gone. Skunk weed, and if otherwise, let me know in the comments where can I get skunk weed, because you can call it skunk, but if it don't smell exactly like a motherfucking skunk, and they haven't added skunk smell to it, then it ain't fucking skunk. Skunk weed smelled like a fucking skunk. And to this day, when I drive down the road and I smell a fucking skunk, it does not smell bad to me. I don't smell no bad smell. Maybe in a concentration, but no, it smells like skunk weed, and skunk weed smelled always fucking good as a motherfucker. It smelled maybe a little more healthier than the actual skunk, but it was just very fucking similar, just maybe a little better is all. The weed skunk was maybe a little better. I might do a whole new channel for this show. A whole new channel called High on the Air. I might to do these. I think I might do this every day because I am going to get high once a day. Because trying to get high many times a day doesn't work. If it did, sure, I'll do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Weed doesn't work that way. I'm so tired of trying to force a head rush to get any kind of a buzz, too. You know, if I take a hit, especially several draws on it, fill up, and kind of like hold it with pressure a little bit, and then wait till it induces coughing, and cough in a certain rhythmic pattern that I didn't even realize I was doing that enhances the buzz. I didn't realize I was exaggerating my cough for years and years and years to get higher. It feels good. A weed cough does for me. And I think that's why I was doing it. And maybe the fact that I just kept getting higher throughout didn't discourage me from doing it. But I honestly did not know. I didn't realize I was exaggerating my cough to enhance my buzz for a long ass time. But if I fucking force a head rush like that, then I can get high even if I'm in tolerance, if my tolerance is up too high. But I just noticed that getting a lot of views on a live doesn't really mean shit. It does mean something. It means that YouTube is giving me a little bit of exposure because people keep trickling in. But if you have 500 views on a live and you only have 6 concurrent, that shows you how many you had at one time, how much of an audience. Not much. Lives, I don't see anybody do well in lives though. I mean, lives are something you do just to fucking hang out with people, I think. Even if you're not watching live, I feel like you're hanging out with me. So you should feel that way too. And I feel lives are more like that, a hangout, than to try to get views because they don't succeed. I see people with millions of views on videos, and then they don't get a lot on lives. I mean, they might have 600 people, but how many is that? When they're getting millions of views on every video, that's not much. I'm not getting nothing like that. I don't get any views on my long form because I don't know why. I don't know if it's because, whatever. Because I see people sometimes can just post shit. My shit is way better than some people's, and they get way more views than me. Is it because of my somewhat risque nature? I don't know. I know I need to get on TikTok and I need to do everything, but I'm not worried about it too much because I've never started posting my videos. I'm starting to worry about me not posting my videos. So maybe that is I'm on the road maybe to post the fucking things. I'm 4 years in the can right now of me traveling around and becoming diginomad, becoming from just a pure science nerd who used this character to communicate with you, but never wanted to communicate with you. He wanted to be the nerd all the time. And I turned me on subconsciously just to communicate. And I try to put it like, the guy inside of me, the actor that plays me, he will look and see some things and he will be thinking that it is quite desiccated because of intense solar radiation for a fortnight, you know. So he can't communicate with nobody. You can understand. So he needs me to say, that shit's all dried out because it's been in this hot sun for 2 weeks. And people understand that. And he would say, because you're fucking stupid. And you see, I don't say that. So it works better for me to communicate instead of the actor that plays me. He don't get along with folks. And I do. Yes, I am fucking, you should hang out with me, absolutely. Because I've been honed over a lifetime to do nothing but communicate with folks. That's it, nothing else. It's all I exist for. It's all I ever existed for. I'm kind of trying to take over the show now, the whole shebang. But, I do find that impossible after a certain point. I am but a fictional character. But I am the front facing man of the show now. All the time. All the time. He has demoted himself completely from the outside world. So I am the connection between him and you. And I always existed, but not really. The seed of me is what he used to communicate with you, to tell you the shit is all dried out because of the hot sun instead of it's desiccated because of intense solar radiation, that don't fucking jive. And that was learned as a small child. So then it was like a split personality. The seed of me was the part that communicated with the apes that live on this planet and have taken over the whole fucking thing. You know, there's no one else to communicate with. So the seed of me was who he used to communicate with you. Because when he's really excited about, as a small child, that he has figured out why we see different colors, it's so exciting that all the wavelengths of light are all there. And other wavelengths are absorbed in the material by such processes as kicking electrons to higher orbits and then kicking that energy back off as heat. And that's how come black objects get hot. And then, as with my viewers dropping off, you monkeys' eyes roll back in your head and you're like, who gives a fuck? You're a strange child. So the seed of me was born to communicate with you monkeys, and but he unfortunately I wish he had went in the direction of using me, using the seed of me, to become more extroverted in a sense and let me do that. And then he could still be the nerdy bastard that he still is. When I say I study shit, he studies shit. But I'm just dragging along with him. But then, as soon as the camera comes on, or we interact with any person, pa-doom, he's gone. I'm here. But I still have all that shit that he studied. So I kind of like me better than him. But I don't think I could do without him. And I don't think he can do without me anymore. I've always been there. It's the only way he's ever communicated with the monkey planet he's been born on. But now, I don't know what it is. It is talking to a camera for years. And he don't do that. Only I do that. So he let me took over, and it's been years now, 3 or 4 years that I have been on talking to the camera. So then we started filming while we interact with people too. So I'm on while we interact with people. And he's not. He's off. He's always off. When we interact with people or if the camera's on, he's off. So I have just taken on a life of my own. I have friends that are not his friends. None of his friends are none of my friends are his friends. He has none friends anymore. So why would he ever come out? Except when when the camera's off or no one is around. Then he's on. And I'm not on at all then, I don't think, at those times. I'm not on at all. He's not watching a documentary going, yeah! I'm gone at those times. So that is quite a strange turn of events. But, a culminating factor, I think, was when I bought this fucking hat, man, and put the camera inside of the hat. So then I'm filming for sure when I interact with people. So it's me that's here. And it's almost, I think of it kind of like I'm looking at myself in the mirror when I first put this hat on. And it's almost like the Frosty the Snowman legend, where as soon as he puts that old hat on his head, it has some kind of magic powers. It was happy birthday, and I was born. Did you know Mad came together a lot right then when I saw myself in this cowboy hat. Like I say, the seed of me was already filming before then. Did you know Mad was already trying to take shape before then? But man, it's like when I put the hat on, you can picture waves of force, beautiful light coming into me, and it's happy birthday. From then on, it's been totally different. Even when Did You Know Man was trying to form himself, he didn't speak with such a southern accent. I have a natural one that belongs to all of us. Even the nerd inside of me, but not so much as Did You Know Man. Especially at times. I want to do some kind of a giveaway for my subscribers, but I don't want to do just something really stupid. It's probably just going to be for people near me, because I really want people to have to do some kind of scavenger hunt And I would like you to have to go into places and get something from a human being, like a person somewhere. And you won't find that where they are or whatever until you go to a location and get something that I've left there. And then you will have to go to a place where there's a real person that has something for you if you go there and say something. And then I don't know what after that. I guess I would have to look and see what other people do. Or I've never done any kind of scavenger hunt shit myself, as far as this geolocating or whatever else there is. But if I do a giveaway, I really want it to involve something like that. So it probably wouldn't involve most people in the fucking world, unless if I ain't got the kind of money to draw people from fucking far away. I'm doing like $100 or something, or if more, I don't know what. I guess I can include weed, no telling what, because in Michigan, if I'm in Michigan at the time, uh, it's legal to give people weed. I can go to the weed store and buy it, and you, I can, whatever the fuck they would call it in an illegal state, I can do that to you. And if I'm giving you weed, I am doing something to you at certain other times. But, or I'm dreaming of it, one or the other. Probably the other most of the time, but not always. I'm going to stop, absolutely stop taking pre rolls, $2 pre rolls, and putting them in the $10 pre roll container, which is so much more beautiful. And it's made of glass. And it's got a sticker on it, so it seems like it's made out of aluminum or something. I thought it was until I've seen one smashed. But so much better presentation. But I'm not going to do that anymore and give it to a chick as a gift. If I give her the fucking 𝗡𝖒𝖆, it's gonna be the real 𝗡𝖒𝖆. I hope she's not watching. It's gonna be the real 𝗡𝖒𝖆 next time. This time, I knew it was not, and the only lie I did not lie completely, but I did. I said I did not know. I do not know. Is that? She said, "Is this the real thing?" And I said, "I do not know. I will know next time." I did know. I did know. I intentionally fucking did that shit. It's not just. I do that all the time. And I keep it on me. And if there's a hot chick, I give them this, and it's such a more beautiful wrapper. And it says liquid diamond infused, but no, it's not no kind of infused. Uh, but it's been in that container, and it'll smell and taste better because of that. I guarantee you. And sure, it was decent stuff anyway, but. No. From now on, I want the real shit because I don't like giving them. I don't. I just think, man, I give them that, and they're like, man, that joint sucked compared to what I thought it was going to be, and you're like, make you think like everything with that motherfucker sucks. That motherfucker sucks. Don't touch nothing he has. No, not gonna do that no more. I want it to be extra special. Well, this hour has ran over an hour, and that's the end of the first episode of High on the Air with Did You Know Mad? Park and lock it forever and ever. Amen.